The galaxy had a classification system for everything. Stars were catalogued, species were ranked, worlds were measured, labeled, and neatly placed into categories that made the universe feel predictable. Most inhabited planets fell into 3 groups: garden worlds, industrial worlds, marginal worlds, and then there were death worlds. Planets so hostile that life surviving on them was considered an anomaly, worlds of crushing gravity, violent weather, unstable tectonics, aggressive predators, and diseases that evolved faster than medicine. Species from death worlds were rare and feared. Humanity was one of them. Why the galaxy kept humans at arm's length. From the moment humans entered interstellar society, the signs were obvious. They tolerated environments that crippled others. They healed from injuries that should have been fatal. They adapted socially, culturally, and militarily at alarming speed. But humanity behaved. They followed treaties. They respected borders. They limited military expansion. To the Galactic Council, that meant one thing. Humans had learned restraint. To everyone else, it meant something far more comforting. That restraint was assumed to be permanent. The assumption that almost ended everything. The Card Dominion did not fear humans. They were not a death world species. Their home world was stable, predictable, and forgiving. Their technology compensated for physical fragility, and their doctrine relied on overwhelming force and flawless logistics. To them, humans were dangerous, but manageable. So when a resource dispute escalated along a shared border, the Dominion applied pressure the way it always had. Blockades, sanctions, accidental patrol violations. Human diplomats protested. Calmly, formally, patiently. The Dominion mistook patience for weakness, the line that was crossed. The escalation came quietly. A human research habitat, civilian, unarmed, clearly marked, was seized under the justification of temporary security oversight. There were no executions, no dramatic atrocities, just displacement. Thousands of humans were removed from their station and interned while the Dominion reviewed claims. The galaxy watched. No one intervened. Humans filed complaints and waited. What no one knew about Deathworlders. Deathworld species evolved under constant pressure. Predators, scarcity, environmental catastrophe. On such worlds, survival did not favor dominance alone. It favored limits. How hard you could push before collapse. How much pain you could endure before failure. How long you could keep going after others stopped. Humans had learned to live near those limits every day. What the galaxy did not understand was this. Humans lived their entire interstellar existence below their true capacity. The emergency session, when Dominion forces expanded control deeper into human space. The Galactic Council convened an emergency session. Human representatives arrived late. They looked different. Not angry. Focused. The council chair began formal proceedings, but the human envoy interrupted politely. "We're withdrawing from negotiations," she said. Gasps rippled through the chamber. "That's highly irregular," the chair protested. The envoy nodded. "Yes," she agreed. "So is what happens next." The moment restraint ended. Across human space, protocols long classified as theoretical activated. Not weapons. Limiters disengaged. Fleet safety restrictions were lifted. Autonomous command thresholds were expanded. Engagement doctrines shifted from preservation to resolution. Human systems had always been designed with redundancy to prevent catastrophe. Now those safeguards were turned inward. Humanity stopped asking what they were allowed to do and started asking what was necessary. The first battle. Dominion fleets met the human response near the Helia Belt. They expected escalation. They did not expect transformation. Human ships moved differently. Acceleration profiles exceeded previously recorded tolerances. Maneuvers that should have torn hulls apart were executed without hesitation. Weapons fired beyond rated output. Human crews accepted risk Dominion doctrine considered unthinkable. The first Dominion fleet ceased to exist in under 6 minutes. Not destroyed. Overwhelmed. What unrestrained strength looked like. Human soldiers boarded Dominion vessels without waiting for airlocks to cycle. They fought in gravity variances that would have incapacitated most species. Wounded personnel stayed in combat roles until physically unable to move, then guided others verbally from the deck. They didn't slow. They didn't retreat. They absorbed losses and kept advancing. Dominion commanders reported something unprecedented. Human units did not break. Ever. The psychological collapse. Dominion forces began to fail before engagements even started. Crews hesitated. Officers delayed orders. Simulations could not model human behavior anymore. Humans were no longer optimizing for survival. They were optimizing for ending the threat. That difference shattered Dominion doctrine. The Council's horror. As reports flooded in, the Galactic Council realized its error. They had only ever seen Deathworlders at peace. They had never seen what happened when such species stopped holding back. Emergency ceasefire resolutions were drafted. Humanity did not respond. The turning point. The internment camps were liberated. Human forces arrived without warning, neutralizing defenses with surgical precision. Medical teams followed immediately. Human doctors treated Dominion wounded alongside their own. No revenge, no executions, just efficiency. That, somehow, was worse. The message that ended the war. Finally, humanity transmitted a galaxy-wide broadcast. Not a threat, a statement. We are a Deathworld species. Restraint is how we coexist. You mistook it for weakness. This is what happens when we stop. The broadcast ended. Human forces halted. Everywhere. As suddenly as they had advanced. Aftermath. The Carth Dominion surrendered unconditionally. Borders were restored. Reparations were paid. Leadership was removed, not by execution, but by enforced accountability. Humanity withdrew. No territory claimed. No empire expanded. The galaxy struggled to process what it had witnessed. The new galactic doctrine. A new rule quietly entered council records. Never provoke a Deathworld species. Never corner one. And never assume restraint is permanent. Especially not humans. Epilogue. The truth about strength. In the years that followed, younger species asked why humanity didn't rule the galaxy. The answer was simple. Because humans knew exactly what they were capable of, and chose, every day, not to be that, until they had no choice.